Settled in
All
here.
right, there we go. There we go. There we go.
Okay, happens to the best of them.
What's up, man? What's going on?
I'm good. How you doing today?
Good, man. Just moving around, saying every day is kind of the same, but it's different though. Every day is different, but at the end of the day, we just trying to get some work done.
That's what it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Conversations. I'm your host, Al Mecca. This is my special guest, Mr. Channing Hawkins, Mr. Zeal himself. He's the president, CEO, number one promoter, the whole 9 yards. Zeal Energy Drink at a,
So,
at a drive-through near you.
yeah. Everywhere, everywhere.
So we're going to jump into it right here. Why an energy drink? What made you be like, I'm going to do an energy drink?
Well, it's funny. I was just telling somebody, people ask me that question a lot, and it's funny because it's like the same answer, but it can be different depending on when I like exactly what I think about when I was thinking at that point when I decided to do an energy drink. So
Mm-hmm.
at the time I was doing music, and you know I wanted to have something other than music to differentiate my brand with.
Okay.
So at first I had started with the clothing. That was something that I did, t-shirts. But everybody was doing t-shirts, and that was cool too. Like that worked well, and it did what we needed to do for the time. I would never ever. I mean, shout out to the people that's in the clothing game too, by the way, because every product is different in the clothing industry. Like that's something that I don't. We'll print up some t-shirts and stuff, but that's a whole different beast. But anyway, after I was doing the shirts, I wanted something even bigger, and I didn't know what it was at the time. I had ideas and thoughts of certain things to do because of, I guess you can say, I mean, just in a hip hop sense, the guys that I would watch coming up, like the Jay-Z's, the 50 Cents, the Diddy's, and, really 50 too, at least for me, just watching him and how he took, you know, the music, that was one thing, but what he did with vitamin water, it was different, just different things that I was paying attention to from a lot of guys that I watched, not just guys in hip hop either, but guys on the, whether it was guys on the streets or whatever, just different things that people were doing to be innovative. So speeding up, I'm not big energy drink drinker, but at one point I was, not like a big energy drink drinker, but just different jobs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
um Before I got into the energy drinks, though, I wanted to do a water. That was my first initial thing that I wanted to do, was a water. But at the time, I want to say that was like maybe 2014 when I first started, 2013 when I first started kind of looking into what could I do to take my brand to the next level. Um, and then I couldn't really find like a reliable source for the water at the time, so I moved to different things. I wanted to do a sports drink, like a Powerade, Gatorade. I wanted to get into that, but it was way out my budget.
Okay.
So, at one point I just took a little break, and then it came to me one day. I was buying an energy drink, and I liked it. And I was just like, man, this would be dope. If I was to have a energy drink beverage, it would taste something like this, or, and then after a couple, going through a few different people and resources, and some good acquaintances too, I was able to. It was like I just jumped out the window with it. I don't know if I'm speeding up. I know I should let you talk. I don't know if you got any questions in between.
I got you. I got you though. Go ahead. Do you think?
Yeah. So anyway, when I first launched the energy drink, I didn't know anything about the industry
Okay.
at all. It was something that I just took a gamble on. I scraped up what I had as far as my money, and you know I had got a design done. And when I first got the drinks the first time, I didn't know what I was doing with it. Like I
Okay.
didn't. I knew that people were were like, I mean, they took it well. Like when I first launched it and announced that I had launched this energy drink, it was like overwhelming support. You know, now it's like, okay, how do I sell this? And at the time, he used to go by Rob, and he had a store downtown, and he had just got it. It's like a convenience store, and he was the first one. He was the first store that I actually got into, and that was 2015. By that point, prior to that, I was just selling the drinks out the trunk, more so giving them away, just like mixtapes.
Right.
You know, I wasn't so focused on just making the money. Say that again.
Just trying to get people familiar with your product.
Exactly. The same way we do the music. You know, I would give mixtapes out for free. You know, I never was the guy. Like if I came up on you with my CD, I was giving it to you. You know, even if you wanted to buy it, that's cool. But it's the same science with the energy drinks too. Like I wasn't too focused on just trying to sell it. But Amadi ended up having a store in the club movement. You know, shout out to Sonny and Trav and all those dudes. Cause they put it in there, and it was in there for a minute. And those that, like, at the time I was headed to Houston as well. So and let me not skip over this. Doing music, trying to print t-shirts up, and then on top of that trying to do energy drinks, like it all hit my pocket at once at one point.
It will.
You know, and you know what I'm saying? And I was in the midst of trying to get out of Ohio. I was 25 at the time, and 2016, I had just turned 26. A few weeks after I turned 26, I ended up moving to Houston. So once I moved to Houston, I had to start over. Everything started over. Like life started over. You know what I mean? So, you know, and I was always the type of guy too, even when I was putting out music or whatever I was doing, I always took care of the crib first. You know what I'm saying? I always made sure I had some wheels, you know, a roof over my head, you know, and all that. You know, then I would, whatever I had left over or hustled up to get, then I would put with whatever. But anyway, I was in Houston for about 3.5, 4 years, and I'm still back and forth. But at the time, like I was actually like down there year by year, staying there. And during that time of rebuilding, I ended up really studying the industry and figuring out who my market was, because I remember one time I was at South by Southwest in Austin.
Right.
And I was there with my cousin, and you know, we passing out drinks and stuff, you know, people trying them, they like it, all this stuff. And one guy, I ran into this white guy, and he drove trucks for like a tea company, and he was taking his stop for the night, and it just happened to be in Austin. So he came down, and we gave him a drink though. And the first thing he did, like everybody else, just popped it open and just started drinking it. The first thing he did, he turned the ingredients around and started, you know, thumbing through it like, okay, you don't need this, you don't need that. This is cool, that's cool, and that's cool, but you don't need it. You know, it opened my eyes like, okay, let me start to learn my product a little more.
All right, now let me ask you this. When you're developing your product, what's the process that you had to go through as far as what you want to taste like to build, you know, your flavors and just, you know, what you have wanted out of it?
So when I first started the process, aside from the design and everything, because that went into the can, because there were two phases of this energy drink. When I first launched it, I had 8-ounce cans. The 8-ounce cans, just the small cans, and I had a different design. Now I have the 12-ounce cans, you know, whole brand new design with it. But well, first of all, the taste for sure. So it was a citrus flavor. At the time, they had other flavors that I could have decided to launch with, but I wanted to launch with one specific flavor first, something that I felt like I could drink and enjoy, but not just me, you know, some of my partners too. Like when I first got my energy drinks in for the first time, one of my friends was the first one to actually try it. Cause I wanted him to, I knew he would give me a straight answer. So you know, and he was like, this is the one. So it was a citrus flavor that I ultimately decided to go with, which is like similar to a Red Bull. You know, if people drink Red Bull, it's a citrus flavor. Other than that, you know, I'll say this because I launched it in 2015 and we're in 2022. So it's funny even thinking back to when I first launched it because I have so much more freedom with what I want in the drink, you know, or a particular flavor. So at that time, it was really like only one or two flavors, and I ended up going with the citrus one at the time. And the ingredients, I mean, that wasn't really anything that I even really knew at the time. So the people that I was going through, the company I was going through, they, you know, they educated me on that. And then yeah, they just sent it out, you know. So like like I said earlier in the conversation, at the time I didn't know anything about it. I felt it was a good investment, but it was like, okay, you know, how do I sell these? So the second time of me launching this time, it's like, okay, how do I sell these without selling them out the trunk, or just depending on the clubs or the bars or people that just know us to actually buy this. And then when I was in Houston, that's what ended up happening in those 3 years. I was like, okay, who's my core audience? Okay, one, college students, you know, that's really in there, you know what I'm saying? Or that just gotta, whatever the situation, gotta get up, gotta test, whatever. Truck drivers, you know, those are my extreme sports. And I'm talking skateboarders, you know, any sport in general. And we have a sugar-free option. That's one thing we didn't have before. So a lot of the athletes that I do sponsor, or not just athletes, our sugar-free one is like is super popular right now. So but yeah, though, go ahead though.
Now tell me about some of these guys that you're trying to sponsor, because I do see you with like the boxer and all that. Tell me about some of these people that you're getting your brand behind.
So a few guys there. So far, it's funny because most of the athletes that I've sponsored have come from Canton. So you got Mo Miller, you got Omoyele Gonzalez. There's a guy named Seth Schaefer, and I've been posting him on the Zeal page and on my Facebook page, the Zeal Facebook page. He has a fight actually coming up in London next month. And he's in the bare knuckle fighting league. But this is big though. It's just like boxing. Like they got the arena, instead of a square or an octagon like UFC, it's a triangle. You know, but I mean they got the people, the tables, the ring girl, the announcers, Mark Goldberg, I think that's his name. That the announcer the commentator from the UFC. He's one of the commentators. But yeah, Seth Schaefer, he has a fight October 16th in London at the Indico O2 Arena. So and then there's a few different girls in this football league called the WNFC. And that's like the highest tier of women's tackle, you know, football.
Okay.
And they're sponsored by like Adidas, Bozzy headphones, Riddell helmets. I think Dick's Sporting Goods just came on recently. And you know, just trying to grow. We still growing, but at the same time, it's still very much new. So, you know, a lot of the things that's happening right now, just with the brand in general. I mean, as far as the sponsorships, we do community cleanups. A lot of the stuff is still new, so I'm still learning and trying to figure out, you know, how to condense everything and you know, prioritize my schedule for sure, because at this point is, you know, it's always something going on, and that's super duper important, is, you know, to be able to try to have everything as neat as possible. Because now it's so many athletes that my bad, the lights went on, hold on. It's so many so many different athletes now
Yeah.
that want me to sponsor them, and I want to sponsor them for sure, and I'm going to. But we still working our way up right now, so we just trying to make sure everything is. But I mean, it's been fun though. It's been fun.
Now, what regions is your drink in? Like, is it just like what, Northeast Ohio? Like, where's the drink located?
So right now, I'm in like, I want to say roughly like maybe let's say I think 26 spots here in Canton,
Okay.
and then we're in one location at one of the Webster's Delis in the Bronx, New York. We're at the Marathon gas station in Cuyahoga Falls on 2nd Street. And then we just actually we're in it's a spot called Private Party. Yeah, it's called Private Party 805 or something like that. I'll tag them in this after this, but it's Private Party. It's a restaurant in Akron, black owned. We just hit Akron. And then we're actually about to be hitting Houston heavy and Florida real heavy. And with that being said, things have been moving fast, which is a good thing. But we have to up the volume now as well. So it's like, before where I had a bunch of drinks, the city is starting to like they are supporting, they are going out and getting them. And then even people that don't know, we do pop-ups. We everywhere, like anywhere we can be at. We do taste testers, all type of stuff. So anybody listening to this, if you go to zealignite.com, ZEAL ignite.com, you can sign up to our newsletter. That way you don't miss anything that we are doing. But going back to what I was saying though, yeah, we do pop-ups, and all type of stuff. But go ahead though before I lose myself.
What was the role that you had played with the Hall of Fame this past year? I think you was up there.
Yeah. So, just going back to what we was just talking about. We was the Hall of Fame. We did first Friday. So, of course, everybody got their tents out there, and that's really been a help because, like I said, people that don't know or have never heard of us, there are people from across the world that are coming over here for Hall of Fame for HBCU. And not only that, just with what the Hall of Fame Village is doing, in itself is gonna draw more people. So, I'm trying to get some stuff done with them, before the giant, energy drink companies come in and try to, but yeah, we did first Friday. We also did bike night at Quaker State, which is every second Wednesday of the month. So next month will be the last one. So come out there if you ain't doing that, man. We'll be out there from 5 to 10, and we got some guys. We got some of our people out there that I be having pulling up on their bikes, man. And we be having the tent, the booth out there. We really tapping into that crowd with the bikers. It's been great, man. The gyms, all of that, man. But just to finish what I was saying before, we up in the volume now because it's going so quick now. So that way we can get to Cleveland, we can get to Toledo, we can get to even some of the spots out of state a little quicker. Because right now I'm the main distribution. Like there's no distribution. Like I do all of this by myself. So a lot of people ask me like, how you get your drinks in these stores? It's just a matter of me just going up in there. Just that's it. Like I go up in there. Try to talk to who's in charge, give them a couple samples. And it's not just always that though. I'm at the point now where I'm trying to move up and lock in some of these contracts with, the Dave and Buster's and, just different restaurants and stuff where you do have to go to corporate. And I've gotten into some of those spots like K1 Speed, the indoor go-kart spot they just built out here in January out there in Port Jackson, right by the Akron Canton Airport. Those are the key spots, that you do want to have. But the drive-throughs, the gas stations, it's a couple of nightclubs and hookah lounges. But, it's spreading quicker than what I expected. When I first launched, I was okay with just having 3 spots for a month or 2 months or whatever. Like
Right.
I was okay with that. And I think in a month I did 20, and shout out to my team too. Let me say we did 20, but it God is good.
Would you say that the distribution is the hardest part of the process?
No. No, it's not that it's the hard. It's not that it's the hardest or hard at all. Paul's like just I'm in the process of where the volume is turning up so much that it's time for me to go find a, distribution. That way I can, get into these different locations quicker without having to physically be there. Even though we still will physically, we're about to go on a college tour soon.
Mm.
So yeah, we'll be going to different colleges, speaking and talk about different things as far as the energy drink, giving out samples. But we'll just be on campus as well, just handing out drinks, and we're gonna go to like over 50 colleges. So at the same time, and it's funny because like we are in that digital world now where everything is here.
Yeah.
And you have to learn how to adapt, which I've definitely done. But I still believe in face to face,
Right.
word of mouth, like exactly. We hear in your face. But nah, man, Hall of Fame was cool, man. It was an interesting weekend. Coming from the city we come from, Canton, Ohio. When you start doing different things in life, especially living in the city this small, everybody know what you got going on, good or bad. It's just certain ways you gotta start moving different as well too. Not that there's been any threats, but you gotta be smart.
Yeah.
When you get to a different level, that's really when the bullshit. I don't know if I can cuss on here, but that's when the BS. that's really when the bullshit starts, when you really start to, that's when you start getting tested as you want to come up. And you know what I'm saying? Like I said, it don't gotta be nothing too like crazy. It can be crazy. It can, it can be okay. It can be mild, but just keeping a level head. You know what I'm saying? Because
Stay focused and whatnot.
exactly. We doing different.
Tell me about the team that you have and the role that they play, with your company.
Okay, you talking about my people, the team?
Yeah, your team.
A lot of things. They really do. They do everything. I pretty much do. Like there really are. One thing I realized over the years is when you're trying to put together a team or a team of people, believers, whatever, there's really no specific role you can give anyone until they've proven themselves. Number one. And I say that even if they're good at doing something, you can think like, okay, you can do this, and then you're gonna do this because you're good at this, and then sometimes it don't work like that though. So there's things little things, the very, very little things like okay that anybody can do. Once you've proven that, and what I mean by prove is my team is small. I got a team of maybe 4 or 5 people that's just really just us locked in, but everybody kind of does a little bit of everything. So there's really no specific role, and those roles can be not necessarily dropping cases off, but it can be setting up events. It can be calling different locations, getting materials, getting supplies for stuff that we need, picking up drinks, taking it to this place for these taste testers, or it's a number of things. Like if you can do it, then there's no such thing as like, okay, well they can't do that. That's I mean, there's things that I do that only I would be able to do. But other than that, we all do the same thing. And with that being said, I work just as hard as they work. I mean, I work hard. I work the hardest. Yeah. But and because their work reflects what I the work that I put in, because I do the little things too. I don't just sit back and go, okay, well y'all got that under y'all control, y'all do that, and I'm just gonna sit here and just chill. I'm out there sweating. You know, I'm out in the field every day, you know, looking bummy still, you know, I out here putting in work, putting up tents and opening tables up and getting chairs and getting some the stuff people don't see
Mhm.
that goes into it. They just see the final product. They see you downtown, they see you at bike night, they see you posted up, and they see the shirts and everybody clean, but it's a lot that go into it. Um, you know, besides money, you know, it's definitely blood, sweat, and tears. And you know, we have to remind ourselves, not remind ourselves, but we have to keep each other sharpened too, and say, okay, you know, we've been kind of slacking a couple days. Let's get on it. You know, which are slacking, we still working, but it's like, okay, there's more work to be done, or there's always something that can be done if we want to be at the level we want to be at.
Absolutely. Well, what's the best business advice you've received since you started doing the energy drink?
What's the best advice that I've received?
Yeah, the best business advice.
Hmm, that's a good question. You know, want to come to me. I receive a lot of good advice on the daily. Just even when I was talking to you a few weeks ago and we were setting this up, you know, we sat there and talked, you know, for 45 minutes, and I probably can't recall everything we talked about, but you know, you always drop gems on me every time I see you. You know, it's always something, you know, that I do take. But I'll say this. Um, some of the best advice I've gotten is kind of like two different things. Well, one is just moving as far as how I move, and I don't just mean in the sense of danger, but you know, taking care of myself, you know, staying healthy. I do a lot of traveling, and I'm about to be doing even more soon. So, you know, I've been getting, you know, as far as I won't necessarily say advice on that, but more just so motivation to get that in line. Advice, just the best advice I got, right, honestly, is just to be prepared for everything that's about to happen. You know, um, good, good. We'll just say good, you know. But I've been telling people, I'm like, you know, when guys start to open doors, when you open that door, whenever he allows you to open it and you walk through that door, it's not always pretty. Like, you know what I mean? And what I mean by that is, you know, you'll reap the benefits of, or, you know, of the work that you put in. But at the same time, now you got to watch a million people now, because there's going to be different people coming in and out doing business that you never met in your life. So now you just have to be guarded. Just keep your guard up. And that sounds kind of cliche, but I would say in so many words, the best advice that I've been given recently is just to, like, you know, different things that are taking place and that have already taken place. It's like, you know, that's just the start of it. Get ready for it.
Yeah,
But I live for it though, and it's not a bad thing. You know, this is the business world, and any business that you're in is tough to be in. It's really survival of the fittest. Like, it's not easy. It's not easy. And if you don't have thick skin, it doesn't matter. Like, whatever it is, that you just have to be tough. You have to have thick skin um to be in this business. So, you know, and especially with us being African American too, you know, we really uh we have to be mindful of, you know, how we represent for each other,
absolutely.
and at the same, yeah.
So, where do you see Zeal in 5 years? Like where do you see the energy drink in 5 years?
Um, well, I'll say this. I definitely, outside of me wanting my energy drink in every store, just everything from TV networks to whatever, that's a given. Um, I think that'll happen. What I want for Zeal is, I want Zeal to be bigger. I want the name and the movement to be bigger than the energy drink, because the definition of Zeal is great enthusiasm and pursuit of a cause or objective.
Okay.
And you know, we all carry that. We all carry that zeal in us. or zealous, what I'm saying, spirit within us. So even with the athletes that I do sign or that do want to work with me, I always make sure I tell them, like, I'm like, this isn't just I'm not just signing you to so you can score touchdowns and knock people out and do all this stuff.
Right.
This is something to where whenever you're done playing, I want you to still be able to work with Zeal. I want to have a Zeal athletic department. So for former athletes or whatever, we do free camps or whatever camps we decide to do, basketball camp, football camp, boxing camp, tennis camp, whatever. We got former athletes that, really went out there and put in that work that we can pay to run those camps, So that's one thing, like, as far as like Zeal Sports is concerned. But outside of that, like I said, we do community cleanups. I want Zeal to just be a brand that's recognized, that's for the people. And I know that might sound a little corny, like, but for real though, because when I think of other energy drink companies, they have festivals and cool stuff. Like, I'm not knocking that because I want to get to that position to where I can have a festival or something, but you don't ever see them out in the community. I'm not saying they not writing checks, but you don't see them in any energy drink company or too many companies at that's in the beverage industry associated and really diving in the community where you can associate not just this name and company with the drink, but what actually out here though. However that is. But to answer your question, I want Zeal to be recognized as more than an energy drink. I want it to be recognized as a brand that's about building, as far as whether you're a creator, a artist, an actual, you draw art, an athlete, a musician, whatever it is, I want to build a structure to where, okay, we do a little bit of everything. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be a rap label, but just to inspire. I want Zeal Energy to inspire, and that's more than anything, because I was inspired. That's how I was able to get to this point. So all I want to do is inspire.
All right, let me put this out here. Somewhere there's a boy or girl, young boy or girl in high school. What advice would you have for them stepping out into the world?
It's really simple. Like, the way I was, no one ever, whatever I felt like, when the teacher asked us what we wanted to do, and when okay, better yet, the TV shows and the teachers, when they said you can be anything you want to be, and they would tell us that when we was kids, I was the kid that really thought that, I could really be whatever I wanted to be. And at one point it was a basketball player. Another point it was this, another point it was that. But I would tell that kid, it's really not too deep or anything. Whatever it is that you want to do, whatever it is, do it. Like, you can be the best at, you just, it takes little to no effort, but for some people that's a lot. Like, it takes no effort to really do these things for real. It's just about really putting your mind to it. It's one thing to talk about it. It's another thing to do it. And everything doesn't require money, resources, people that that's another thing. So for people not to get discouraged when doing something because they feel like they don't have enough money to do this or start this, it's not always that. It's that too. You got to work. But my advice would just be, think outside the box. Try to do a few different things. Don't just set your mind on one thing. Don't do everything at once, but once you figure out what it is that you want to do it at the highest level that you can do it. And I can elaborate, but that's pretty much it in so many simple ways. Whatever you want to do, try to do it at the highest level that you can do it, regardless of what anyone says, because your family and friends are going to be your first doubters. I'm not saying all of them, but your first doubters are going to be people that you should really be believing in you. Like, so if you can't get past them, then you can't even enter into this other area where no one knows you. So just stay focused. Stay focused. Don't let anybody tell you you can't do anything. Because people told me I could. When people tell me I can't do something, I want to do it to prove to them that I can do it.
All right, let me ask you this, because in business, especially when you're trying to be an entrepreneur, you have them days. You have them days. When you're feeling discouraged, what's your go-to? How do you get yourself out of that funk? Like when you just feel discouraged?
A number of things, man. Because you're right. There's days where you discouraged, and and that discouragement, I mean, it can come from being tired. It can come from, I have a daughter too. So, you have to manage life and then being gone too, being gone a lot. And then, I mean, that alone, that can discourage you. Not from necessarily getting the job done, but when I do go through those spells and those moments, first of all, I'm real active on telling myself, as soon as I start feeling like that, I automatically almost start telling myself, like, all right, snap out of it, and it's not just that easy. I do a number of things, man. Sometimes I just need to relax.
Yeah.
People get caught up in, like, I don't sleep. I'm just working. Like, now that's cool. Like, I grind. But some days you got to sit back. I'm not saying you got to sit back the whole day, but you need to take a significant amount of time to reset.
Yeah.
Whatever it is you do. I might need to listen to some gospel music. You know what I'm saying? To soothe the waves in my brain, because I've been bumping, rap all day, or whatever the situation is. If I'm going through that spell, it's a number of things. It might just be relaxation. And just knowing, if I stop now, like, who's gonna do this if I don't do it? Like, I've come too far. Like, I'm not gonna. The thought of me just sitting around is what gets me going again.
Yeah.
Even if I'm lazy for a couple days, I'm still doing some work. But even if I fall back for a couple days, after those couple days, I'm like, okay, let me get out here, because there's somebody that's working while I'm sitting here playing, and that will get me up alone.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely. Now, before we wrap this up, let everybody know how they can get in touch with you to find your drinks, your activities, where your location, one more time, how to follow you.
Yeah. Channing Hawkins on Facebook, Zeal Energy Drink on Facebook. So Zeal Energy Drink on Facebook, that's our Facebook page. Instagram, Zeal_energy. Zeal_energy on Instagram. My personal Instagram is King Sinatra 19. It's always been like that. I just never changed. It's still under Channing Hawkins, but it's King Sinatra 19. And the website, zealignite.com. We got a newsletter on there. We also put up independent businesses, black businesses, whoever business. We got a news blog that we switch out every couple weeks. And we don't charge nothing. Sometimes I just see what people be out here doing, and they don't even know I'm putting their website up on mine, and I just do it. That way, if somebody is visiting my website or ordering some drinks, they might come down and scroll through and see your business and want to cop something off the store or whatever. So we do that. And for real, man, I might as well say it while I'm on here, but I got a new project dropping. I haven't dropped no music since like 2017, because I was getting the energy drink thing going, but I got a new project called No Concept. And that it'll be out before the end of the year, but you will start seeing some promo for that real soon. And that was the plan, actually. Like, the plan was to launch the drinks and the album around the same time, but the drinks was so ahead at that point. I was like, let me get the drinks out here first. And the album kind of been done. We like just tweaking some stuff. It's kind of just been done, but we just, I'm lining everything up. This time around, I said I just wanted to press a button. I didn't want to drop prematurely and then try to catch up and do videos and catch up and do this and catch up and do that. I wanted everything from the energy drinks to the music done. That way, when I press a button, there's no style. It's really about to turn up even more. That's the crazy thing.
That's what's up. Well, my brother, definitely looking forward to it. And I want to
sure.
Thank you.
What's up with you, man? How your Packers look? I ain't know. Did they win this past weekend?
We're not gonna talk about that right now.
I ain't see. I ain't even trying to be funny though. I ain't see it. I
First
didn't see
game,
it.
first game of the season, man. Wasn't
It's
pretty.
all good. It's all good, man. It's all good. We gonna have to catch a game, man. For real, for real.
Absolutely. We'll definitely link up soon.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, man. Have me back, man. Whenever, man. Whenever. You know, when the album drop, we gonna hop back on here and talk about that. But yeah, man, I appreciate it, bro. I definitely I see what you're doing. I always respected what you was doing. You always been, you know, one of the real ones. So, you know, I appreciate you for having me on, man.
Man, I'm just trying to get it, man. Get it.
Yeah.
You know, I always say I do it for the culture. Do it for the culture, man.
Yeah, for sure. Always, always. That's what I do it for, and that's what I'm gonna keep doing it for.
There it is. Well, go ahead and enjoy the rest of your night. And I want to thank you for your time and stay great, my brother.
You too, man. Hey, I appreciate everybody that was on the live too, man. Shout out to y'all. Mecca, man. Salute, man. I'm gonna holler at you, man. You have a good one.
Thank you, my brother.
All right, man. Take care.
Peace.
Yeah.